Well, now many African countries that are richly endowed with oil and natural gas are also among the poorest. For many of these countries, the oil resource has been literally a curse. Some, however, say natural resources don't have to be a curse. So how can African nations manage their oil resources in order to reap the kind of benefits being experienced in the Middle East oil-rich countries? For some perspectives, I'm joined live from our VOA London studio by NJ Ayuk. And NJ Ayuk is an energy lawyer and co-author of Big Barrels Oil, Africa Oil and Gas, and the Quest for Prosperity. Welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you, Vincent.
Yes, now, I kind of mentioned that question there. I'm going to repeat it. The countries that produce oil in the Middle East are extremely wealthy. So many African countries have been producing oil for so many decades now. Why is the situation different?
It's an issue of leadership. It's an issue of getting it right. It's an issue of us taking accountability to what these resources mean for Africa. African countries have to recognize that these resources belong to the people. And once you start working with resources that belong to the people, you have to use it, and we have to be good stewards of the resources. The Middle Eastern countries realize that these are finite resources, and they have to be responsive to the people and who the resources belong to.
Now, I don't know what you suggest in your book, but I tend to believe that African leaders recognize that these resources belong to the people. They are not their personal property. Question is, what can be done to make these African leaders accountable and make sure that those resources are plowed back to the benefit of the citizens? It's not like they're dumb, like they don't know. They know, for sure.
That's what this book is about, Vincent. When we look at this book, we say we're going to look at solutions. When you start looking at solutions, we say, enough with the problems, enough with the complaining, enough with us saying, oh, it's the Europeans, or it's the Americans, or it's the Australians doing this. What are the solutions that we can put forth based on, for example, my experience working around Africa, my experience seeing some of the good best practices and everything. Some of the experiences we looked at here, we say, well, let's take, for example, Ghana. Ghana discovered oil. They set up a regulatory framework that really built the industry, and they are doing some really good things. It's not perfect in Ghana, but they have some things that can be done right. They look at Nigeria. Nigeria has a really, really difficult history with oil, whether it is pollution, whether it's mismanagement, whether it is corruption. But when you take a look at when the government moved forward and said, we are going to have the petroleum industry bill, we are going to have local content, it created entrepreneurs. So there are flashes of hope, there are possibilities. But let's ask a big question. If we look at African resources today and we say, why don't we monetize gas? Instead of flaring gas and polluting our environment, if we capture that gas, we can actually power African countries. Every African president, every African leader tells you, I want to industrialize my nation, but you cannot power industries on generators. You have to develop the right kind of gas plants, the right kind of power plants to be able to do that. So when we look at this book, we said we have to provide solutions and not just problems to what these people are facing.
Yeah, but NJ, who's going to listen? I mean, some of these African leaders, like you can go to Equatorial Guinea or wherever, they have personally benefited themselves, their families from all this wealth. You get the sense that some of these leaders, they really don't care. So what are you going to do to force this? They know what to do. They're like mercenaries who are here to take and go, like the continent doesn't belong to them.
They can listen. Part of this is that you have to have an active civil society. In today's world, the majority of Africa is under 34 years or 35 years of age. You can connect with people more than we ever thought. Think, for example, I'm sitting in London and talking to you today. I can connect with my friends in Nairobi or in Ghana or in Uganda. There is the massive exposure my generation of Africans have, whether it is social media platforms or the advocacy platforms. My generation of Africans that have been opportune to go out and study and come back to the continent. If we use our education, if we use our experience, if we use our knowledge and not work towards bettering our societies, it's a poverty and ambition. So we have to go brick by brick, step by step. And that's what we try to look at this book and say, what kind of solutions we have out there that we can really put forth and really provide solutions for an Africa that we all want to see. We can no longer accept this bad narrative about Africa. We have to walk towards it, and we cannot expect someone from outside to come do it for us. We have to do it ourselves.
In a few seconds, who should read your book?
Everybody who is concerned about Africa, every African leader, every Pan-Africanist, and every oil man should read this book. We provide solutions, and we provide hope for the future of our natural resources. It's a book for Africa, and it's a book that is really going to enlighten us.
We hope for the best, because it's such a shame that we have all these resources and countries grovel in poverty. Thanks a lot, NJ, for sharing.
Thank you very much. I hope you buy a copy on Amazon, $19.99.
Great,
Vincent. Thank you so much.
I'll try my best. Thank you very much. That's NJ Ayuk, is an African energy lawyer and co-author of Big Barrels: Africa, Oil and Gas, and the Quest for Prosperity.